for people who have yet to read the book, I came away from it feeling like, man, it's an epic, and her life is incredible, really incredible.
Well, it is. You figure it starts in the 1920s in England, completely devastated by World War I, takes you through the Depression, which was basically a depression in England in the 20s as well as the 30s, through, as you point out, this era of the heyday of live music. I mean, when she grew up, there was no TV. There was radio, but there was no TV. So people went out to see music live. And then World War II, for God's sake, when I found out that Jimmy was actually at D-Day, I was like, really? Did somebody make this up? No, he really did.
Yeah, and she's a couple of miles away from the front the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a screenplay waiting to happen.
It's a screenplay waiting to happen. And then the liberation of Paris, Django Reinhardt, the birth of bebop, Chicago jazz in the 40s, jazz in the 50s and 60s in New York, like the golden age of mainstream jazz. And she's there right through it all. I think one of the things that really made me aware of that sweep, and one of the reasons Jimmy was so important to her, as I listened to the shows, there's about 800 of them, and I guess I've listened to probably 500. There's still some I haven't listened to, but I realized she mentioned Jimmy a lot. And one of the reasons she mentioned Jimmy a lot is that it gave her an in to the people that were playing jazz before she came up. So she was a person who had a first or second-hand personal relationship with the entire history of jazz. Nobody else had that. And that's why when she finally gave up the show and her producer and people at NPR started, who are we going to get to replace Marian? I said, nobody can do that. Have another show. Have a different kind of show, but nobody can do what Marian McPartland did. She met Louis Armstrong through Jimmy McPartland, and Jimmy was adored by Louis. Joe Sullivan, all these people that came up playing the music, she knew them all. She even played with Baby Dots.
Yeah, his mythical figures in the jazz history, yeah.
And she played with everybody from Baby Dodds to Cecil Taylor. Who can say that? Nobody. She was an unusual character, not just a great journalist and advocate, but a great piano player who could sit down and play with anybody.